Vakratunda Mahakaya
Suryakoti Samaprabha
Suryakoti Samaprabha
Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva
Nirvighnam Kuru Me Deva
Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada
Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada
Jnananandamayam Devam
Jnananandamayam Devam
Nirmalaspatikakrutim
Nirmalaspatikakrutim
Adharam Sarva Vidyanam
Adharam Sarva Vidyanam
Hayagrivam
Hayagrivam Upasmahe
Akhandamandalakaram
Akhandamandalakaram
Yena Vyaptam Characharam
Yena Vyaptam Characharam
Tatpadam Darsitam Yena
Tatpadam Darsitam Yena
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha
Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Om Asmadgurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. We got again 2 weeks of break. Come a little closer. Let me see you better. So last time what were we discussing? Anybody remember?
We were discussing about the story of Hiranyaksha. We were learning what Hiranyaksha meant.
Yeah. What does Hiranyaksha mean, Krishna?
Hiranya means constant disturbance.
Mm-hmm.
Then Aksha, Hiranyaksha. Yaksha might simply just mean.
Not Yaksha, Aksha.
Aksha.
Hiranya, Aksha. Aksha means senses. Senses constantly distracted by anything that glitters, anything that shines, anything that swiftly moves,
Just basic
and
sense
anything that makes
distraction.
noise. Varanya, right? So that's our natural tendency. Our natural tendency is to get distracted by glittery stuff. We think all glittering things are gold, and then all noisy things are worthy of attention. So we pay attention to those things, and that's our natural tendency. And because of that natural tendency, what happens to our nature? Our nature is submerged into the waters of
Thought.
sense objects. We call it ocean. Sense object means anything that we see with eyes, or sense objects for the eyes. Anything we hear with our ears are sense objects for our ears. And anything that we touch, anything we smell, anything we feel, any of these things are sense objects for that particular sense. And they are countless, they are endless, they are not discrete. You know what discrete means? Discrete means something that is not specific. Like for example, you can see a square, right? If I make slight modification to the square, can you see it?
No.
You can't see this.
Oh no, yes, I can.
You can still see it.
Yeah.
It's a different object,
Yeah.
right? So it's not like we can only see squares, we can only see circles, we can only see red color, we can only see green. It's not like that. You can see a continuum, everything that you can see. So that means our senses can see a continuous change that is happening, and it is endless. There is no end to what we can see. That's why these sense objects are not individual stones, but they are compared with waters, and that too endless waters, which is ocean, right? So that's why the ocean is representative of all our sense objects, and our inner nature is submerged in it. Why? Because the demon within us, which constantly distracts us onto noisy things, glittery things, has stolen our inner nature, right? But what is a varaha? Do you remember? Anybody remember?
It's a wild boar,
Mm-hmm.
large tusks.
No, that's okay. But what does it
Inner
represent?
Inner meaning of Varaha.
Varaha is a great day. Remember?
Great
Yeah.
victory.
I know it's like not victory, great day. Vara plus aha is great day. Yeah?
It's the day where you find your inner nature.
Yeah. The day when you find your inner nature is a great day. That's Varaha. But now let's recall the story. So what happened? Lord Brahma created Manu and Satarupa. So they manifested. They came from one body actually. But half is Manu, half is Satarupa. And they bowed down to Lord Creator Brahma and said, Lord, what should we do? Then Lord said, okay, worship the Supreme Lord with yajnas. He said, worship the Supreme Lord with what? Yajnas. And they said, okay, we will do yajnas, but where is the earth? The earth has gone. So then they started looking for earth and they couldn't find earth. Then what happened? Anybody remember the story?
Then Brahma contemplated on the great Lord, the Supreme Lord, and then suddenly out of his nostrils, a small tiny boar fell out.
Yeah.
And then they instantly grew to massive size and then jumped into the ocean.
And then
Metaphorically smelled underneath the
it
ocean.
smelled underneath the water to find where the earth was. And then finally found it. Because earth required smelling. Otherwise you can't find it. You cannot touch and feel and find it. You need to smell it somehow. So, and then he pulled it up. So, does it make any sense like to smell underneath the water? You must have snorkeled. Did you go for snorkeling?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
What happens if you smell under?
Can't breathe.
You will breathe water in and then that's it, you'll choke up. Right? That's not the best way to do. But how did Varaha smell? What does it mean? What does it represent? And also it fell from nostrils. So there is some deep connection with smelling everywhere. Okay, let's understand what smelling is. What we think smelling is, what do we do in smelling? Yeah?
There's a saying that I read in a book. It's called smelling rat. That means like smelling something bad is happening, like you know it. So I guess that means like
Yeah, you
when
smell
he's
something bad.
smelling earth, like
Something
he knows
smells
it's
fishy,
Ah,
the
yeah.
quotes
there.
that
He
they
knows
say.
it's there.
Yeah?
Like a feeling, I guess.
Yeah?
You smell the gas particles around the object and determine on the flora.
You're not cooking also, right? You
Yeah,
smell it. And
You
know
you
ingredients
smell
and
some
everything.
certain property. You sense the gas particles and you
Is it
sense
one
their
of-
properties.
That's how smell works.
Yes.
Is that one of the first senses?
Yeah, I said it's one of the very first senses,
No.
olfactory.
Actually,
It is. Olfactory sensing
Sensing.
is basically smelling and tasting.
Tasting, yeah.
So that's the very first sense that evolved in living beings.
but underwater, animals cannot sense.
No, not smell like we do, but they can sense the, as you said, gas particles or any toxin particles or things like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it has nothing to do any of those things. So what we call smell in Sanskrit, it is called Ghrana Indriya. It's calledGhranam. Ghrana Aghrapayami. Have you heard that word dhupam aghrapayami? That means I'm making you smell the dhupam, right? So the aghrana or smelling is indicative of something that we're, of course, knowing about something, but something that fills everything. That's why we call it vasana. Vasana, if you open a perfume bottle here, what happens? The smell will fill in the entire room. It will cover you. When you wear perfume, you are actually wearing it. That's what you say, I wear a perfume, right? So when you put the perfume, you are wearing that smell all around you. So that's why it is called vasana. The cloth is called vasanam. This is called vasanam. Pita vasanam, you might have heard in some stotras, right? So vasana means to cover. And the nature of smell is to cover the entire room or to cover you. If we step on some very bad stuff, then the smell, we're wearing that smell and walking around. That's what happens. And that's why it is called vasana. And what does that represent within us? It actually represents the memories that we have. It actually represents the automatic habits that we have. So for example, if we have an automatic habit, like the morning that you wake up, you have an automatic routine. What do? You just run through that routine without even knowing that you have run through all of it. And we have so many automatic habits like that. So these automatic habits are like driving an automatic vehicle. You don't know what driving is, but adults know that driving means you are sitting there, the foot is doing its job, hands are doing their job, and you're listening to music, talking to people, you will go to the place. Because you got so habituated, and car runs on automatic drive, so you're going on automatic.
Like biking.
Like biking also, it is automatic. So like that, there are memories that have gotten into us and that created automatic habits, automatic thinking patterns, and they control our behavior. Suppose you got a bad habit. You constantly keep doing it in front of others. Some people bite their nails. They got a bad habit. So they're not cognizant of what they are doing. They start biting. In India, some kids put their fingers into their nose. Bad habit. So there are some bad habits like that. But we are not talking about just these bad habits. We are talking about all our bad habits. Some automatic fears. A child, maybe when they were very young, saw a fish and got frightened. And that is ingrained into themselves. Whenever they see a fish, they automatically cringe at the thought of it. Some people like certain things. They're automatically drawn towards those things. When the sounds are heard, they are automatically going that way. So fears, likings, several habits, all behaviors, they're all automatic. They're developing within us. That when they activate within us, they cover your whole self. For example, if you have a fear, what are you afraid of?
The dark. The dark.
Darkness, right? So when the fear of darkness comes, what happens? It takes you under grip, right? You can't break loose of it. Can you? They said, there is nothing in the dark, just go. Would you be able to go?
Probably.
Probably, but what is your automatic behavior?
To like go away from it.
Yeah, say it loud because it needs to catch. So, and similarly, if you like certain things, what do you like the most?
Spicy food.
Spicy food. So spicy food smell comes. What happens? Automatically in you.
I'll be drawn to it.
You'll be drawn to it. Right? Exactly. So we are automatically drawn to things, and that is called vasana. Or sometimes they are called samskaras also, because those are the refinements. We think they are refinements, but they are modifications that we made to our psyche. How does habit develop? You must have developed a lot of good habits. How does habit develop?
You have to like do it like over and over.
Over
again.
and over. Repetitive doing. And how does habit strengthen?
When you keep doing it.
And then attach a reward to it. A reward. That means you do a thing, I'll give you a reward. Then you like the reward, it strengthens your behavior. You do it again. So by reward system, you develop, you strengthen the habits. By repetition, you strengthen the habits. Like that, there are so many habits. Some habits come biologically with birth. How does the child know how to suckle? Like if you give a nipple or something, how does it know how to suckle? The program has to be there within it. When something is coming close to the eyes, the eyelids close. How do we know? The program is already within us. If you see some animals, immediately as soon as they have taken birth, within minutes they will start walking or swimming. And if you look at a little cobra baby, just hatched out of the egg, it will hiss and will raise its hood for every small disturbance. Because these habits, all these things are there biologically. They come biologically, and some we develop in this lifetime due to repetition. And these are the ones that constantly draw us towards Hiranya. Anything that shines, anything that's spicy food, fish, run away. So like that, you have all these automatic behaviors because you see something or you hear something, all this. So these are the ones that are burying our nature deeper and deeper into the waters of worldliness, waters of sense objects. So therefore, how do you catch them? You have to really smell them. So what does it mean? It means observe yourself and find out what you are doing automatically. What is your automatic behavior? Look carefully. Why did I run that way? So there is something that automatically draws me there. Why did I pick up this particular dress? This color automatically draws me towards it. And why my mind was wandering in this direction? Because I am automatically drawn to those ideas and those thoughts. Like that, if we observe and if we can catch ourselves in our automatic actions, in our habits, in our behaviors, that is the way to find out who we are, what our actual inner nature is. Some people are drawn towards study, science, great ideas. That means their natural setting is knowledge. So they must study in order to fulfill themselves. They must study well, they must understand, they must teach. Some people are drawn to music. Whenever music is there, you're drawn to it. So that is your natural swabhava, your inner nature. So your liberation, your fulfillment, everything is in there, in music. Somebody is into arts, they can sit hours and hours and draw a nice fine cat. So that means that's where their natural inclination is. So they are drawn towards it naturally. So like that, everybody has to find out what we are, what are our strengths, what are we drawn to, what are our weaknesses. And once you know, then you can start working on it, improve it, get it better. Use that inner nature for our own liberation. Right? We have to understand what it is and then we have to use it. So the best way to do it is smell it out. Smelling means recognizing the automatic habits. Okay? So that's what Varaha did. And then he lifted it up. So that means once we found the Swabhava, you lift it up above the waters of the worldliness.
Uplifted.
Yeah, about the sense objects. You lift it outside. That means you have to do work on it. What is the work? What was the work that they were supposed to do, they wanted to do? You remember? What was the work ordered for Manu and Satarupa? Perform yajnas. And what did I say Varaha Avatara was? It was Yajna Varaha Avatara. You remember that word? Like last time I used Yajna Varaha Avatara. So Yajna Varaha Avatara came, manifested to bring the Swabhava up, inner nature up, and put it up there for work. And the work that needs to be performed is Yajna itself. So now we have to understand what Yajna is. Okay? So you might have heard the word Yajna many times. Do you know what Yajna is?
It's like a fire that you do puja with.
And what do you do with the fire? Anybody? No? You have a fire, you're right. And then? Yeah.
You can.
Okay, so usually you sacrifice things like bad habits.
But in Yajna, what you see in temples at home.
Is the physical part of it.
Oh, okay. They usually pour like ghee into the
Ghee
fire.
into it, okay? Yeah. So fire is there and you pour ghee, you use the word sacrifice.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you have any other?
I think she covered pretty much what I was.
You
going
covered
to
pretty
say.
much? Okay.
So
So the Yajna, typically it has a little fire pit. It's called Vedi. And in that there is a holy fire. And then you pour ghee into it and they say some mantras. And this is the physical act that you see outside. But in Vedas, it's all about Yajnas. Vedas speak about that everybody must perform Yajna. Everyone should do Yajna. And this Yajna, what you described, is actually a symbolic act. And there is also one statement, you might have heard it, that if you perform Yajnas, the rain god will give rains. Have you heard that? Yeah? You heard that. In Bhagavad Gita also it says. So they say when you perform yajnas, you will get rains. Is that really true? In this country, when people started performing yajnas, probably only 50 years ago, maybe first yajna was performed. But was it not raining here? It was raining all the time here. So yajna and rain has nothing to do. But Shastra says yajna and rain are connected. You know why? That's another symbolism of yajna. What happens in rain? You all studied what happens. How does the rain come?
First, like the water evaporates, and
Yeah.
then the particles like join together to become clouds. And when like there's too many particles, it like drops back down.
When it cools down, it drops back down as rain. Yeah. So who is contributing the water to the cloud?
The ocean, the major players are the ocean. The ocean is a contributor and the sun is the catalyst.
So sun is sucking. Sun is like the fire.
Catalyst
Okay. Catalyst
means like the
Let's
the
say there is no
initiator-
sun at all. Temperatures are absolute zero. There is no sun at all. It's not a catalyst. He is the actual one sucking the water out.
He gives the energy.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that the sun physically sucks the.
No,
No, it is.
catalyst is used in a context where there is already something basic happening, and then this is just
Something is
adding
only
to
promoting.
Like a liaison. It's like it's not a liaison.
So basically she said evaporation, that is true, reasonable. But what happens is there is something called saturated vapor pressure. Anyway, but we'll get to the chemistry. Let's forget about it. Sun is the one that is sucking out. He's not physically sucking out like that. But sun is responsible for all the climate and all the water evaporating and getting into from aqueous water phase to gaseous phase and then accumulates into the clouds. So ocean is the primary contributor. Who else? Am I a contributor? No, I'm not a contributor. How about an ant? No?
Perhaps the rivers and the lakes and
And water
perhaps
bodies.
certain organisms that perhaps it's water like goes through a series of chemical reactions, comes back in the waste form, goes back into the ocean, and then it's evaporated.
Yeah. But actually, if you think carefully, everyone is a contributor. When I am walking out, vapor pressure, it is
Sweat
sucking
particles.
slowly sweat particles, water out of me. That's why I get dehydrated. If you walk in sun, come back, you will feel dehydrated. Even an ant is contributing. Even a tiny aphid, tiny bug is contributing. But they are contributing so tiny. It really doesn't matter. Ocean is the primary major contributor. But if you have a big forest, all the trees are contributing. Trees cool and they're also contributing a little bit of water. So that's the reason why sun is sucking water out of every being, every little thing. So everyone is contributing to their level. And where are they contributing? Each individual is contributing to the collective. And it goes into the collective, forms the climate. And from the climate, things will rain back. And this is a symbolic process of yajna. For example, we all pay taxes. Everybody pay taxes. Somebody pay only $1. Somebody pay $1 million. But everything goes into a big treasury. And the treasury will rain back. You will have roads, schools, hospitals, everything. So this process of individuals making contributions into the collective and the collective raining back into everywhere is a universal process. And this process is called yajna. So that's why when they say yajna and rain are linked, that's what they mean. They don't really mean when you perform yajna, the smoke will go up and rain will come. That's not what they're talking. What they're talking is, yajna is all about making individual sacrifices into the collective. And who receives those sacrifices? Agni, fire. In this rain, who is the receiver of these sacrifices? Sun. Sun is receiving all the sacrifices and creating the climate. In yajna process here, Agni is the recipient. This is not the final recipient. He is only a postman. He takes these and contributes all these to whatever divinities that has to be contributed. So this is a symbolic process. So in this symbolic process, what does it teach to us? Number one, sacrifice, you said. Number two, what did I say? Individual contributions into collective.
Vyashti.
Individual contributions into collective. And there is a sense of worship. Why is all this done? All this is done to know what needs to be known. What you need to know ultimately is where it is going. Okay? So that is yajna. So we can also make yajna as part of our life. I'll give 5 different yajnas. I'll take a little longer. There are a lot of questions today. I ask a lot of questions. So yajna is all about worship, of course, but sacrifice of whatever individual owns into the collective. And we don't offer garbage. In yajna, no garbage is offered. What is offered? Ghee. How do you get ghee?
Come from cows.
Say it loud. Of course, from the cow. Cow doesn't give ghee though. If I go, I don't get ghee. What do you get?
Milk, butter.
Yeah.
You get milk, and then you make
butter.
yogurt, curd, and then remove butter, and then you churn it. So you churn it to get the butter, and then you clarify it. So ghee is the finest product after a long, arduous set of things. Right now, we can just go get milk, or we can just buy ghee, Nanak ghee, in Indian stores, right? But imagine a situation in a place where they don't have milk being sold, nothing like that. What do they have to do? They have to have a cow. And the cow must have a baby, otherwise it won't give milk. It must have a calf. And it won't give just milk like that, it needs to graze. You have to protect both the cow and the calf. And after you do all that, it gives, the milk is meant for the calf, and you take a little bit of it. And out of that, you refine it, and get to the finest product. This finest product is being offered. So that means we make our best contributions into the collective, so that the collective will reign us with the best things that it can. So taxpayers, I don't give broken plastic to tax IRS, right? Ripped shoes to IRS, right? They won't take it. They want your finest money, finest dollars.
So we can just give them these.
Right? So in the same way, in yajna also, we have to offer the finest things that we can, with a trust, with a faith, with a sense of sacrifice, with a sense of worship, and then it will give it back. So this is a way to uplift our inner nature. Not only that, it is the way to cultivate our inner nature. There is only one path, that is yajna, to uplift our inner nature and to cultivate it. So I said everybody must do yajnas. What yajnas can we do? Yajna is a very expensive process. You have to get a priest and you have to get ghee and all that stuff. But without any of that, you can do 5 yajnas. And 5 yajnas are said to be compulsory for everybody. Everybody can do it. Number 1 is Rishi Yajna. Remember that, Rishi Yajna. Rishi Yajna means when we chant mantras, when we study scriptures, when we are talking about stories like this mentioned in scriptures. This is all Rishi Yajna. So what are we doing now? Rishi Yajna. The second is Deva Yajna. Deva Yajna is, when you light a lamp next to the god at home, when you do puja, Satyanarayana puja, or when you do any kind of activities, sit there and light a lamp and chant a sloka. You are doing Rishi Yajna and Deva Yajna, both. So any puja that you do at home is Deva Yajna. Then the third most important one is Pitru Yajna. Pitru Yajna means respecting parents, taking care of parents. And if the parents are deceased, you perform what is called Shraddha. Anybody knows Shraddha, what Shraddha is?
Yes.
Shraddha is you do ceremonial kind of a ritual. It's not like a ritual, but there is a lot of meaning. We'll get to that later. So those rites, all these things called Shraddha. Shraddha means something that is done with Shraddha. That is the third one. Fourth one is Manushya Yajna. That means we take care of our fellow human beings, help them when they are in need. Don't let them die poor and hungry. Help them, help fellow people. And the fifth one is Bhuta Yajna. So don't harm the beings, animals, birds around us. Take care of the environment. Don't throw plastic mindlessly everywhere. Don't clutter and litter the world around us. Right? So taking care of the world around us is Bhuta Yajna. So what are these yajnas? Rishi Yajna,
Deva,
Deva Yajna,
Pitru,
Pitru Yajna,
Manushya,
Manushya Yajna, Bhuta Yajna. There you go. Remember that.
Deva, Pitru, Manushya, Bhuta.
When you are walking on street and you find somebody, a blind person trying to cross the road, you help them. That is Manushya. Right, exactly. You put a little bowl of water outside for the birds. It's a very hot day, very hot summer in Tracy. What is that? Bhuta Yajna. You're walking outside and somebody littered with plastic at a holy temple. So you just go and collect all that, put it in the garbage bin. What is that? Bhuta Yajna. Excellent. Your mother says, my feet hurt. You go and massage the feet. What is that?
Bhuta.
Pitru Yajna. Yeah. What are we doing here?
Rishi.
Rishi. Excellent. So these are the 5 yajnas, a minimum anybody and everybody can perform. And by performing these things cognizantly with full awareness, you are actually making individual contributions into the great collective. And that collective will always respond to us favorably. And that is the nature of the universe, right? Universe is always with open arms, waiting to play with us in whichever way you want to play. You work hard and you want to become a doctor. What is the chances of that happening?
95.
Pretty good. Very good chances. What does that mean? If you want to work for a goal, a reasonable goal, the universe will reward you with that. You want to make enemies with everybody. What is chance of that happening?
100%.
You want to hurt somebody by throwing a stone at them and you start throwing stones. A good chance that you hit them.
Yeah.
Right? So whichever way we want to play with the universe is willing to play with us in the same way. If we are always afraid that bad will happen to us, bad will happen to us. Although you are afraid, you don't want to say, I don't want an accident. The accident will happen. Why? Because the universe doesn't hear no. It only hears what you are saying. So therefore, never amplify your fears. Always amplify positive thoughts. Always amplify kind thoughts. Always say generous things. Don't use or exaggerate any negative things. Observe them. I'm not saying being ignorant, but that's how the universe is. So everything goes into this Pancha Mahayajnas. These are called Pancha Mahayajnas. Okay? So, and that's what Yajna Varaha represents. What is a great day now? Just conclusion. What is a great day now? Yeah? Loud.
It's like when you find your true self.
How do you find it out?
You can find it out by observing yourself and seeing what you do automatically.
Yeah, sniffing out your automatic habits. Exactly, automatic behaviors. Beautiful. And what is the best way to find, find, uplift and cultivate our inner nature?
To perform yajna.
Yajna. How many yajnas are there? Minimum 5. There are many more, but 5 minimum that everybody can do. So we'll stop here and let's say the sloka Purnamadaha Purnamidam and then we'll go to Q&A. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate
पूर्णमुदच्यते
पूर्णस्य
पूर्णस्य
पूर्णमादाय
पूर्णमादाय
पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते
पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ